some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. You can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years.
Hey, is he right behind an aerial vehicle where he may not have heard the question?
He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction.
And you're at the first stage of leftist grief, lying. I want you to see the worst news take ever. So yesterday, the prosecuting attorney released the text conversation between the awful terrorist, murderer, assassin, Tyler Robinson, and his gay trans boyfriend roommate, Lance Twiggs. Just to be clear, the left is not only going to try and gaslight you into believing that this guy was right-wing, but also that he was heterosexual because his boyfriend was claiming that he was going to transition. Mm-hmm. This is a left-wing terrorist who's very gay. Here are some excerpts. Robinson writes, "I am still okay, my love. Told you, gay. But I am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you." The gay lover boy responds, "You weren't the one who did it, right?" 4 exclamation marks, almost as though they planned this to try and remove any type of culpability from the lover. But that's just speculation.
Question marks, not exclamation marks.
Oh, sorry, question marks. You can admonish me. Yeah. I'm sorry. I've had enough of this hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out, referring to Charlie Kirk. As right-wing does, just so you know. As right-wingers do, they kill the guy who sits down at a table for being hateful. And just so you know, the left still believes that this was a conservative, a Republican. That's how evil the left is today. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence, going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Remember how I was engraving bullets? Hey, guys, remember how we told you that there were engraved bullets and the media said we were lying? To trust them, the same media who told you this guy was right-wing. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Join Rumble Premium Mug Club. We can't do any of it without you, just so you know. Millions upon millions in legal fees and millions upon millions in security because the media tells you that we're liars when we are telling you the truth. And the more of you there are, the more leaks we will receive. Remember when I was engraving bullets? The gay lover boy said, well, Robinson, they're both gay lover boys. The effing messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge UWU on Fox News, I might have a stroke. Delete this exchange. You are all I worry about, love. Then Twiggs said, I am much more worried about you. I would be much more worried about, obviously, Charlie Kirk, the family of Charlie Kirk. Mm-hmm. I'd also be much more worried about everyone in this room and everyone else out there who shares Charlie Kirk's opinions, which, by the way, would be pretty moderate. And I'd certainly be worried about people who may have even more right-wing views than Charlie Kirk. I would be worried more for anyone who goes out in public and expresses an opinion peacefully, because you get killed for doing that and you get assaulted. Now, the worst take, I told you, the worst take ever in the news is ABC's Matt Gutman, who called this exchange and relationship, quote, touching. It's touching.
We have seen an alleged murder with such specific text messages about the alleged murder weapon, where it was hidden, how it was placed, what was on it, but also it was very touching in a way that I think many of us didn't expect. A very intimate portrait into this relationship between the suspect's roommate and the suspect himself, with him repeatedly calling his roommate who is transitioning, calling him my love, and I want to protect you, my love. So it was this duality of someone who the attorney said not only jeopardized the life of Charlie Kirk and the crowd, but was doing it in front of children, which is one of the aggravating circumstances of this case. And on the other hand, he was, speaking so lovingly about his partner. So a very interesting and, as Pierre said, riveting press conference, David.
Now do Hitler's dog. He was loving, right? Norm had a bit about that. Yeah, what does that mean? Osama bin Laden was nice to children. So, his roommate, who was transitioning. Say boyfriend. Say boyfriend. Gay love. You know why they don't say that? An aggravating circumstance. The family watching. Think about that for a second. Did he just say aggravating circumstance? I believe that's the word he used. Can someone play? It was midway through. He said aggravating circumstance that children were there.
Yeah.
Play it again.
The attorney said not only jeopardized the life of Charlie Kirk and the crowd, but was doing it in front of children, which is one of the aggravating circumstances of this case. And on the other hand,
a legal term.
Stop. Yeah, aggravating circumstance. Yeah, but he's not a lawyer. He's a reporter. And he used the word touching, which is not a legal term, meaning he can use flowery language. Aggravating circumstance. Roommate. Hey, kids watched their father brutally assassinated by a terrorist bleed out, and his daughter allegedly wanted to run to her dad, but had to have explained to her that she couldn't go to daddy because daddy's not there anymore. And you say aggravating circumstance? Just like I see people out there, Joe Walsh, who I believe I'll be on with on Piers Morgan with later, say the over-the-top reaction. Over-the-top reaction? Over-the-top means that the reaction is not commensurate with the action that necessitates it. What would be required for the kind of reaction you're seeing from the right? Would the family have to be enslaved and gang raped too? Genuinely. If this doesn't warrant the most severe reaction in modern American history, what does? Aggravating circumstances. He's going to use illegal terms, but then he's going to say touching when he's talking about a psychotic gay lover boy who believes that his equally insane, mentally ill roommate/boyfriend is a woman, so he can convince himself that he's heteronormative. I don't care. They're all freaks. Surprisingly, this kind of reporting is actually really common. This kind of reaction actually goes back decades.
In his confession, the alleged killer relayed to police where he had buried the body of his mother, and that for the last 15 years, every Mother's Day, he would lay flowers on her shallow grave and read that Sunday's Family Circus from the paper. It was a sweet, warm look into the relationship this young man of 48 had with his beloved late mother, and it's inspired this reporter to visit his own mother after a quick stop at the florist. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you for that.
Touching.
I don't know how funny that was so much as just dark.
Yeah, it's very dark.
Played it so straight. Yeah.
I thought it was real.
Yeah.
I know.
I did it in Runt, and I still thought it was real.
What kind of word? What kind of a word for this is putting his life in jeopardy?
Jeopardize.
Yes. Jeopardizing.
I know
his
that
life.
jumped out
I'm
at
like,
me.
Wait. You mean murdering him? This isn't like you know, 15 minutes after it happened, and we all weren't really sure exactly what the outcome was going to be, and we all still praying and hoping for the very best. Is that a press conference? What, yesterday?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why can't you just call it like it is?
I want to do an exercise in real time. Get me the transcript of what that guy just said from ABC. Someone bring it out to me while I'm live, and I'll read it to you, and I'll make a point. Yeah. Because that's also what matters. A lot of people, they simply consume the written word. They don't watch video. I'll read it, and you'll get the point. Yes, Nick. Sorry.
I'm just saying they're still playing word games.
Yeah.
It's what happened is so awful, and they know it's somebody from their side that they have to twist reality, play with the language. They can't come out and say it.
Right. Some of them do.
And that goes as a collective for the left.
Yes.
They are caught in this trap that they can't admit.
Yeah.
That
they can't admit that this has been the plan all along. And they can't admit that mental instability is useful to them, that people being isolated is useful to them, that people believing that fascism is around every corner is useful to them, and they did it by design. Because here's the thing, you're Italian, you know a little bit about fascism. How do you deal
I know a lot
with a fascist? It's not at the ballot box.
No, it's at the dinner table on Sunday.
Right. The only way you deal with a fascist is violence. It's the only way. So if you believe someone's a fascist, hey, how many times did we hear Donald Trump will never give up the reins of power?
Right. He'll never leave office.
They dehumanize. They've been doing it since I started following politics, like when Reagan was in office.
Oh, yeah.
They've been dehumanizing from then on.
Yep.
This isn't a thing that just showed up when Trump showed up 10 years ago.
Nope.
They've been dehumanizing the right forever. I'm surprised it took this long for something this horrible. I mean,
It didn't.
It didn't.
It didn't. You're seeing the one that got through.
That's right.
Over 12 felonies,
That's right.
violent felonies on.
Right.
You've experienced it, right? At a comedy club. The first time Josh booked me at a comedy club, it was the first time he had seen metal detectors. We have lived it. We have had rocks thrown at us. We have had concrete acid milkshakes thrown at us. We have had people make serious attempts on our lives, and we don't discuss. You know, when you've had some that were pretty serious, you've asked me before I go on air, hey, I don't want to talk about it because either there's still an investigation that goes nowhere, or you don't want copycats.
Right.
So we live in this fear, and the left doesn't. You're
Right.
seeing the one that got through. If we weren't diligent, we'd all be crippled or dead. That's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, and it could have been Trump.
Of course. They wanted it to be.
They don't. But that story disappeared so quickly that I'm still pissed about that.
Yeah.
He gets shot in the face, and we talked about it for about 4 days, or the mainstream media did.
You know why? Because he was fine.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me when someone
But
stole a homeless man's lunchbox whipped from the same angle. Charlie Kirk was allegedly, from what we know, close to shot. And you know what happened? The girl sitting across from me said, "You're fine. That could just as easily have been a bullet. You're fine. So I have to be bleeding out for you to care." And even then, when your side celebrates, you blame the people responding. Yes. Until you die, they don't care. Until you die, understand that they don't care. How many of you have been assaulted by someone in Antifa or Black Lives Matter? Hey, let me ask you this. How many of you were afraid to leave your house who lived in urban areas because of the summer of love? And so you didn't. What would have happened if you did? Would it have been more than the thousands of assaults and casualties and billions of dollars in damages that we... Hey, what if you, well within your legal right, said, no, you're not going to come in and storm my shop and firebomb it. Mm-hmm. And you decided to stand your ground, which you legally have a right to do. What would have happened to you? You would have been Charlie Kirk. So the left uses us being responsible, us being prudent against us, and they took Charlie Kirk's life anyway. Ruthless, unapologetic, defensive violence. If it's not behavior you would tolerate at a grade school, if it's not behavior you would tolerate at a restaurant, at a town hall, you don't tolerate it just because, my God, we expect the left to be the animals they are. Ruthless, unapologetic, hair-trigger defensive violence. You want your boots so far up their ass that if they even think about violently disrupting your event, it has to sidestep your shoelaces.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a deterrent.
Yes, exactly. It will lead to less violence if they know that they can't act violent with impunity. But it gets worse, Nick. It gets worse. Jimmy Kimmel outright lied. The killer's MAGA.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years.
Hey, is he right behind an aerial vehicle where he may not have heard the question?
He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
And you're at the first stage of leftist grief, lying, and sullying the reputation of a peaceful speaker who sat at a table. They're trying to convince people that he's anyone other than one of their own. Okay, well, look, everyone here, we have some varying opinions. Everyone here pretty conservative, right? Let me ask you, anyone here, anyone in this office, a self-avowed leftist? No. Anyone here gay with a trans boyfriend? Anyone here inscribe bullets with Antifa and weird furry trans sayings? No? Well, the shooter did. The murderer did. Can we attribute this to ignorance? Let me ask you, can you attribute this to ignorance when any liberal, right now, when any leftist says, this guy was MAGA, this guy was conservative. Can anyone actually make the case at this point in time that they don't know any better? Comment, please. You know what? Play devil's advocate. Make the case. Please do. Oh, you're still here, which is a miracle in the age of Instagram and shorts. I think you have some shorts up there. You have an attention span that is longer than that of a fruit gnat. So thank you. I'm glad you probably would like it a lot more if you actually head over and subscribe on Rumble. I'm live there 5 days a week, 11 a.m. Eastern, where free speech is still alive. Go to Rumble. Get off the social media ghetto that is YouTube, with a lot of homosexual activity here on YouTube. There may be some on Rumble, but I haven't seen it.